Hey everyone, I just had several requests after I made this little folio. I had a bunch of requests for a tutorial on these cute little flowers. I probably saw a tutorial for this one. I don't know. I don't even remember who I learned it from. So if you know, then please comment below because it has been years and years. Back then I used to watch mostly just Gayle. So I'm guessing maybe that's where it came from, but I looked and I couldn't find it. So I'm just going to, I deconstructed it to remember how I had done it. And I'm just gonna kind of show you how I do it. My own little twist on it because all the ones I could see out there were a little bit different. So anyway, here it is. You start out with just regular paper. You can do like printed patterned paper, but you want it to be lightweight because you're going to be doing a lot of folding, so you're not going to want cardstock. I love to do these out of book pages. I think it's just really charming. You could do like old ledger paper. This is from a typing instruction manual from back when my grandma was a kid. This is a poetry book, just an old one. I love the coloring. I hope that comes across. Yeah, you can see that faded coloring. And this is a dictionary page. These are a couple that I made a long time ago. Just, you can kind of see how grungy they look. This is one I just whipped up today to remind myself how to do it. And I added some lace in the middle and I really like how that turned out. So I am just going to make one on camera from start to finish, and so you can kind of see how I do it. Now I use 2 wider strips and 2 shorter strips, narrower. So I'll show you what I mean. This is like a tear ruler I made. I did it with like an iron, melting little grooves into it. You can just tear by hand if you prefer. It really doesn't matter. So I'm getting rid of the edge and a lot of the white because I don't really want a lot of the white in there. So we're gonna go, I don't know, I'm not even measuring, I'm guesstimating, and that's okay. So this is gonna be my wider strip. I'm gonna do 2 of these, and if you make any mistakes, it doesn't even matter, because this is meant to be kind of grungy and just fun. So these will be my thicker strips. And then I'm gonna do 2 that are a little narrower. It doesn't have to be a ton narrower. It just depends on how closely you want those edges lined up. If that makes sense, let me show you what I mean. So make them closer in size if you want your petals to be out here rather than tucked in further. So these ones are going to be fairly close together because they're not too terribly different in sizing. All right. Now bear with me because now that we've got this part done, I'm going to, let's glue these. I'm going to glue them into longer strips. You don't have to do this step. I just find that it's a little bit easier if you do this part before. So I'm going to just make those into super long strips. And it doesn't really matter what's on top or what's on bottom. It's all going to kind of get folded and be kind of this grungy mess anyway, so. All right, so now I have a long wider strip and a long narrower strip. You can ink after. I just find that for me, I'd rather ink before and get that part done. So bear with me, I'll go as fast as I can. And I do a little bit of inking afterwards, I'll show you, just because I like how it makes the folds kind of pop. So you'll see that at the end, because that's one of the very last steps. Now, I'm not too terribly worried about that white, but if you are, you can just tear it off. Most of it just gets folded in on itself anyway. Now, you could probably just fold all of this at once in its little kind of accordion pleated pattern, and then maybe, I don't know, you can maybe staple it or something in the center. But I kind of like to get my glue stick. I love my glue stick. I don't know, I don't get anything from them for this, but I really do like this Scotch permanent glue stick. It dries really fast and it holds really well. So I'm gonna come about halfway up and I'm just gonna get my glue on an angle and make a nice strip of glue kind of down that, and then because it's drying, I'm gonna just start folding. So I'm gonna fold, kind of pushing everything toward the center, and you're gonna get some glue on you, and that's okay. I'm just folding and eyeballing this as I go. There's no rhyme or reason. And if it's not totally sticking in one place, don't worry about it. You're gonna come back later. So the goal here is just to kind of get that general shape that you're wanting, which is a circular flower. See how permanent and sticky that glue is? Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's do it. Now I'm to my halfway point. So there's extra paper there because it's just thick because of I doubled them up right there when I glued the two long strips together. All right, so that's okay. There we go. Now I'm going to just continue on getting glue along that edge right there. And then just continue. Folding and gluing as I go. Now, if I get to the point where I'm like, ooh, that's enough, I don't want to overlap, or your papers are bigger, and you don't want, like if they're thicker and you don't want to double up, then go ahead and just tear it when you're ready. But really, because this is just very light dictionary paper, I can kind of continue to the end. And it's not gonna hurt anything. All right, so now I have this jumble of a mess, this kind of circle with glue on my hands, which is awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and tear that other edge just because I don't want that straight edge amidst all of this grungy goodness. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of work it, squeezing everything together where I like it while that glue continues to kind of dry and solidify. All right, so there is the bigger circle for now. Let's leave that and we'll come and do the exact same thing with the skinnier strip. So again, just glue on that edge and then just start folding. You don't have to have them exactly meet up in the center. You can have your pleats as big or as little as you want. Mess around with it, see what you like. Because there's really no, that I know of, no exact science to this. It's really just kind of practicing and experimenting and just having fun. All right, we're about to that halfway point. This glue is awesomely sticking to me, which is good. That's what we want it to do. All right. So now we're going to continue on with that second part. Just get a little glue along that bottom edge, enough that it's going to hold and hold nicely, but you don't need terribly too much. And now if you wanted, you could even come in, because you've got enough on this second layer that if you want to come in and add a little extra overlap of the layers, you totally can. Just to add some more depth. Ah, it won't come off of me. There we go. Add a little extra depth and dimension to it. And then just kind of squish that bottom part together. Now, if I wanted, I can squish my flower flat. So it fits on a book more flat, or I can leave it puffed up like if it's on a cover. But I'm going to come in at this point and just kind of ink along those bends and folds and creases, because I like the dimension that that adds. Nothing too precise, nothing too fancy. I'm just kind of having fun. So I'll go ahead and do that on the small one as well. I just want those folds to kind of be accentuated. All right, so now we have the center, and you can kind of start to see how that is just coming together so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. For this part, I can go ahead and use my art glitter glue because it is a little thicker now. This paper is so thin that I don't like to use it unless there's multiple layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. Now I can be done right here, or I can add a center to my flower. You could add a button, some beads would be really pretty, like several little beads just glued in with art glitter glue. And you could add, oh, a cute little butterfly onto this somewhere if you wanted. That would be fun, just to have a butterfly on your flower somewhere. I have some of these little wax seals that are really pretty in the middle. But for today, I just wanted to kind of show you how I kind of use the same technique, and I just squished, I'm gonna squish together this piece of lace to get kind of that same effect that I did with the flowers. I'm kind of going to zigzag them. Because it's lace, I'm gonna go ahead and try this with art glitter glue. I've never actually done this on camera, so this will be fun. But I'm just kind of pleating and squishing as I go. And because it's lace, it lays flatter, so you don't need very much to get your circle completed. That much should do it. And that was probably like 5 inches is all. Now I'm just gonna give that a quick hold while that kind of dries into place. You could even sew that with a hand sew it with a needle going in and out, and then pull the edge together. That would give it that pleated effect, and that would work great as well. Okay, I'm gonna put a good amount of the art glitter glue because this is fabric, and it'll really just solidify that to hold everything down. Ah, it turned out so, so cute. Better than I imagined. So, while that's drying, let's just recap. Experiment with different thicknesses of pages. Different colors of ink would be fun. Different types of books is a fun way to change it up. Different pieces to go in the center. Different flatnesses. Oh, sorry, I bumped you. Oh, I hope that hasn't been there the whole time. Just don't be afraid to experiment and goof around with these. They whip up pretty fast. I mean, I did that whole thing from start to finish on camera and it went really fast, but I'm just gonna bring that up for you to look at and kind of see that fun texture that it has. Like, these are just really fun and beautiful. So anyway, dig in to your supplies, and it's a great way to use up those pages. So anyway, I hope you all have a lovely day and get some creativity going. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.